You're listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, featuring senior retail executives and experts in the global convenience and mobility industry. Welcome to the Future of Convenience podcast. I'm Carolyn Schnare, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dan Munford. Hey, Dan.
Hi, Carolyn. Great to be with you again.
Today, we're talking one of the world's most important supermarket and convenience retailers, SPAR. So, Dan, would you like to tell us a little bit about them and also our guest today?
Yeah, I absolutely would. Good news, because I think we've got a very interesting conversation ahead in the next 20 minutes or so. Our guest for today is David Moore. I've known David a long time. He's International Retail and Development Director and member of the International SPAR Board. So David works for SPAR International. I think it's going to be very exciting to talk to him, because SPAR International have this amazing unique sort of 48 country perspective of all the markets that they operate in, and there's nothing better than getting a global perspective, I think, on all the developments that we're seeing in our industry, and you can really see where things are coming from, I think, Carolyn. So an interesting conversation. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much indeed.
Before we get started, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Noah's. The iPhone moment for service stations is here. You're losing food sales to restaurants and delivery apps. Well, Noah's flips the script. They install high-quality food units inside your store. No chefs, no extra staff, no major capital investment. Just proven technology, smart kitchens, and digital brands people actually want. Noah's connects your store to delivery platforms, your own app, kiosks, and even TikTok if you want. It's plug and play. And it works. Noah's, where convenience competes with restaurants. Learn more at noahs.global.
Well, terrific to have the chance to talk to you today, David. Can we start by asking you about the unique perspective that SPAR has, and I guess you have as well, in terms of a radar screen? So, the big trends and developments. You've seen quite a lot of the world, haven't you? And you can see, I guess you can see what's coming, can't you?
Yeah. SPAR, we're present in 48 countries across 4 continents. History-wise, we started in 1932, so we've been around a long time. And I think in terms of big trends and developments, we do see a lot before it comes. And also, we don't just work in different time zones in terms of the time of day. We work in different time zones in terms of retail development as well, because one size certainly doesn't fit all. So what we talk about in terms of Western retail philosophy, around the growth in e-com and the growth in convenience and growth in discount and larger formats, having their day. That's not true in other markets. Markets are various stages of development. So the unique perspective that we have is that one size doesn't fit all, certainly. And one of the advantages that we have around 15 million customers a day across our global network, operating across 4 continents. And our customers, they tell us what they want. Our shoppers tell us what they want. So I think the unique perspective we have is that our stores really are heart of the community, and we pick up lots of information. And I think one of the clear advantages that we have as well is that some of the challenges that our markets may have, we've seen elsewhere. So we're able to actually bring people together to share knowledge and insight, which is fascinating. So, there's never a dull moment in global retailing. There's never a dull moment.
Oh, that's for sure. Now, are there any of those? What are the markets that are the most fast growing? Like, what are you seeing the highest trends of, whether it's customer counts or just growth?
Yeah. Well, I think obviously, Europe is our biggest market, and our largest country is SPAR Austria. SPAR Austria has number 1 market share, so now 36.9% market share. That's very, very strong as a business, and it's a mixture of company-owned stores, but also we work with independent retailers. So it's about 65% company-owned, 35% independent. To the shopper, you don't know whether this is an independent store or whether it's a corporate store. So the philosophy, the methods, the look and feel, the merchandising, the standards, the value offering, the customer proposition is the same. So it's commendable, really. So that continues to grow. We're also seeing very interesting developments in the Balkans. So Albania and Kosovo and those territories, North Macedonia, they're really interesting to us. We've got a large investment being made into those territories. I'm actually going there next week. We're excited about that market, I think.
That's not a hardship to head to the Balkans this time of year,
Oh,
David.
well, I might see some sunshine, which would make a difference to what I'm enduring here in the Netherlands at the moment. I think the other market that's on our radar that we're now starting to develop is Central Asia. So we're looking at the Kazakhstan, where we've launched, Kyrgyzstan, where we've launched, Uzbekistan, we're about to launch. We've also got interest from Tajikistan as well, and Mongolia. What's really interesting about these markets is if you look at like the AT Kearney Index or World Bank indices, or the ease of doing business there is a real plus. It's easy to do business there. They welcome foreign investment. They welcome overseas technology. They welcome an upgrade of the offer. And I've been, I'm well traveled, but I've been stunned by some of these places. I've been stunned, places like Bishkek and Almaty, Astana. These are incredible places, incredible markets. So we're focusing on those strongly, and we see huge potential in those markets as well.
Well, that's very interesting. Let's just dig into store formats, particularly. Which markets do you think are leading on store formats? How do you see that, development in store formats shaping customer experience going forward? In terms of what's particularly new and exciting globally.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I think if we want to see pace in terms of the convenience sector, we want to see pace and we want to see change, then we look to China, and we're not present in South Korea, but these are the markets we look at. They seem to be always a step ahead. Even India as well, where the majority of the market is still not formalized. That which is formalized is quick and it's pacey in terms of technology and speed. If I look at China, we've had a very successful phase in terms of our growth in China. But what we see there, we do see smart stores, we see unmanned stores in China. You've got things like Bingo Box and stuff, these new kind of like self-contained, fully automated based on AI and facial recognition, that we're not there yet in Europe, but that's definitely coming. I think the other thing for me around innovation is that sometimes as retailers, we get a bit fixated on the technical side. And for me, in our shops, we sell stuff, right? We sell food. That's what we do. And the innovation must be as pacey in food as it is in tech, which everybody talks about, So customers expect to see sustainable packaging. They expect to see nutritional value in the products that we sell. Services-wise, they expect contactless payment. They expect a good in-store experience. Whether you're a small independent store, whether you're a chain store, they expect a good experience. And of course, they expect an omnichannel experience as well. And I think that, so I'm always very passionate with our international teams when we're developing stores and thinking about the customer proposition. Make sure we're selling the right stuff, and that we're connecting with them. And then all those, I think some of the activities that we've done in these markets, reducing palm oil, reducing sugar, this is what customers expect. And I'm also thinking with the younger customers, that those customers are not so much loyal to brands, but they're loyal to trends. So we really do have to tap into what's on trend, whether that's prime drink, which I have a mixed view about, of course, or these new, whereas cricket flour, whatever, there's all sorts of things going on out there. Customers expect us to be offering those things. I think in terms of innovation as well, customers expect alternatives to A brands as well.
Yeah. Well, really big points. Just on the question of speed, obviously everyone always talks about China speed in all industries, not just retail. But do you think where the West is slowing down in terms of retail innovation, or is it just that China's adding a new sort of gear to the gearbox? That's not a very good analogy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's a bit of a generalization, but in the West, in business, we tend to be very, let's review our strategy, let's evaluate all the interdependencies, then let it kind of like take aim, shoot, fire, but in the East, it's kind of shoot, fire, think later. They just kind of go for it, and a real good example of that for me was around e-com, Q-com. When it came to COVID, although that's a while ago, a lot of our markets were thinking, yes, we've got a strategy team together, we've brought some consultants in, and we're going to start thinking about our e-com strategy. Well, once all the stores closed down, these guys, they had their e-com up and running quick and dirty within a week, because they had no choice. So, yes, I think we tend to look east and look west for different reasons. And certainly in terms of the pace in the East, be that India by way of technology or South Korea and China, certainly moves a lot quicker than us. And
Speaking of China, so and in general, like, I wanted to ask you about social commerce. So you were talking a lot about technology and really having to just meet the customer where they are. Basically, how they buy things. They need to be on, multi-commerce platforms. But in terms of like social commerce, so TikTok, of WeChat, and everything else that they have there, what are you guys doing with that? How are you addressing that?
Well, our partners dictate that to us, so we have to be kind of fully integrated into the communities we serve and what they expect. So, social commerce in China is ahead of the rest of the world. I have a son that speaks fluent Mandarin, spent time in Beijing and in Shanghai, worked in China, and he was always coming back saying, "My goodness, I met him in China. There was no cash. I didn't see cash anywhere. Everyone's in the rickshaws is touching phones. WeChat does absolutely everything. In terms of payment, in terms of information, in terms of marketing." Marketing groups are set up with retailers and influencers. People get downstream to their phones. They get proximity marketing as they enter stores and stuff. It's really, really sharp. And again, on WeChat, you can dial in. You have live streaming, you have influencers in store, and so on and so forth. And so it's WeChat is an everyday part of life. And if I think about our communication platforms that we have in the West, they tend to be used as communication platforms at the moment for talking to each other. But
that's going to evolve, David, do you think?
Oh, I think it will definitely evolve. And if I look at China also, and they have I can never pronounce it, I think it's Douyin, which is the Chinese TikTok. That app is very much integrated with creators, with manufacturers, with suppliers, uses sophisticated algorithms on customers' behavior, and is quick and snappy and immediate. And this kind of world that we live in, like yesterday's news is old news, right? So these guys want to know what's happening right now in that supermarket. Right now, they want to know immediately what's happening. So it's very, very interesting to see what happens. And I think with us, we have to look at that, capture it, understand it, harness it, and recognize that it will be coming our way soon. So we need to be fully involved in that. And a lot of people are talking about retail media and so on and so forth, and how we exploit that. We need to be talking about how we can exploit social commerce in our everyday business lives and retail lives in Europe too.
I think that's just a huge point. You mentioned you made the point really well earlier on when you said that young people are loyal to trends rather than to retailers to stores, and I thought that was that sums it up, doesn't it?
Very much so.
Yeah, and so do you think? Obviously, I mean, just to give you an example, I was at the NACS event in Copenhagen a couple of weeks ago, and we went into a 7-Eleven store, and we just talking to the operator. Obviously, it's a franchise, just like SPAR stores. And I was talking to the store operator and asked him what's your biggest selling line, and he showed me, he said one of his big sellers was Dubai chocolate. They have these £14 bars of chocolate by the till.
Yeah.
It's been a massive trend for them, and I got into why it's been a trend for them, and it just brought home to me your point, really. Mm-hmm. That you've just made very well about young people shopping, being loyal to trends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I've had a taste of Dubai chocolate. It's all right, but it's a great example of marketing and pace and speed of marketing, and utilizing the right channels and creating some excitement about product. So,
And these trends don't always last that long, though, David, do they? So you
no,
need
they
to go on to
don't.
the next one.
Yeah, they don't. Whether it could be an energy drink, it could be a chocolate fad. There'll be something else coming, and it's important that we react. It's important that we're relevant. It's important that we list and get it there, so we give our customers what they want.
Well, to that end, what is you have company owned operated, and then you also have franchise owned operated. Like, do all the stores have basically carte blanche to throw out a new trend? Like they happen to hear there's something hot coming, or their friend, or they saw something. Are they able to roll out something through a supply chain without having to go through a traditional distribution channel of like planograms and everything? Like, is there mechanisms for that?
Yeah. So first of all, we in SPAR, we're a voluntary trading chain. So we have independent retailers that are serviced by large DCs that tend to have their own company-owned operations and offer then share that value with the independent retailers. We always believe with like freedom within a framework, right? And we believe in consolidating volume, consolidating effort, right, to get to do things better and quicker. So with independent retailers, they are really, when it comes to our conferences, it's like a cauldron of passion. These guys are entrepreneurs. It's all about getting money through the checkout. These guys. So if there's an opportunity, they're going to seize it, right? And sometimes it works both ways. That centrally we have an idea, we share it, but it comes back to us through our guilds and through our communication networks to get on it and get these products in and listed. So yes, we do give people freedom within a framework. It's very important. And I think one of the real pluses about SPAR is the way in which we're structured, that the communication through our guilds, through our committees, it comes back up and back very, very quickly. So we're able to react quickly. We're able to be agile.
Makes a lot of sense, and I guess it's very suitable for today's world, isn't it? When you have to respond so quickly
Very much so, yeah.
to trends. Just staying on tech and looking at store operations and logistics, and this is something which obviously, I guess SPAR International can help with quite a lot, can't it? In terms of helping operators in different markets develop their store operations, invest in the right technology, develop the right processes. Do you see, where are the key breakthroughs happening across the markets that you look at there, do you think, and what's SPAR International's role in those?
Well, first of all, I'd say there is although the retail world is diverse in terms of food, there are some common problems. And the common problems are there's pressure on costs, there's pressure on margin, there's pressure on footfall. So any technologies that we bring in to address these challenges are welcomed. And what I'm seeing is there's some commonality. So simple things like electronic shelf edge labels that I think very soon that's going to be everywhere, because one, you have the opportunity to remove labor from the system and change pricing immediately. You also have the opportunity for dynamic pricing, so market specific, where you're unable to do that. You can change prices as you wish and check the elasticity of prices. And your store in the evening in some areas of Europe becomes a centre for the nightclub goer that can't afford to go and have a pizza, but they come to your shop. So you have opportunities to flex pricing up and down. You have opportunities to flex pricing for different times of the week for promotions. I think in terms of AI-powered analytics, it's still early for that, but we're getting information turned around and processed much more quickly. And, everyone's data, but I think data, turning that into information, but more importantly, turning it into knowledge and then acting on the knowledge is the most important thing here. So the AI-powered analytics, we're getting information much, much quicker now. Key things, I talk about in stores we sell stuff, right? And the only currency in retail is that boop through the checkout. That's the only currency. People get lost in other things, but the only currency is that product going through the checkout. So when it comes to demand planning and forecasting and minimizing out of stocks, that's absolutely key, I think, in terms of the technologies that we're seeing. So, yeah, it's very fast moving, this arena, and you can imagine my inbox is full of the latest technologies to help me enhance my business and increase top line by 12%. Well, it's what we want from this technology is for it to enhance customer experience, give full availability to our customers, and to optimize margin and to reduce our costs. That's what we look from it for. But I am seeing globally stock levels in backrooms come down, availability improve to the customer. It's definitely in the last 10 years. I think the overall service level to our shoppers globally has improved, and that's as we move out of the informal sector into the formal sector and embrace these technologies, things are improving.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you have a lot of markets. You have to be fair to all your partners, David. But can I ask you to single one out? I know we've got an article coming out soon in Global Convenience Store Focus where we've interviewed you. But you mentioned SPAR Gran Canaria, didn't you? And the president of that business, and it's a business I know quite well because quite a few years ago, we went there and made a film because you'd won a global competition that we were organizing at the time. And so I got a chance to see that business, and it was obviously a nice trip to go there, but hugely impressive business. And it's obviously just to name them, they're doing particularly well, aren't they?
They're doing really well, and dominant on the Canary Islands. And, it's interesting with the SPAR brand, because if you talk to somebody in the UK about the SPAR brand, or you talk to somebody in Austria about the SPAR brand, or somebody about South Africa about the SPAR brand, people see different things. People that go on skiing holidays in North Italy, they'd see a different thing to others. The business in Gran Canaria is very sophisticated. And I think the real point of celebration about Sankosu and that business is, again, it brought independent retailers together as groups to consolidate, to purchase together, to share information and knowledge together, to co-develop our own brand together, to develop cutting edge formats as well. So we have stores that are open just SPAR Natural, they call them. So everything inside that is either organic or bio or has a health benefit, gluten-free, sugar-free, etc. The Natural Cafe, they sort of they're ahead of others,
And it's Carolyn, you'd love that store, but obviously this was many years ago when we saw one of the first SPAR Naturals. How are they doing? How's that particular brand doing? Is it taking off?
Yeah, it's doing really well. And what we're finding as well now is that, as I said earlier, that those product groups are demanded by our customers. They're absolutely demanded. They're prerequisites of entering the store in the first place. So, we're finding now that gluten-free, natural, low-fat, low-sugar, organic, fair trade, that all of that product is now integrated into category across our supermarkets in general. It's really important.
Oh yeah, that's become almost like you expect it. I mean, at least here in the US too. It's you go to a grocery store there, it's no longer just the aisle. It's integrated into just the I want to say like regular supermarkets, but that's for
true.
sure. So, you've been all over the world. Obviously, you're all over I can't even imagine what your travel schedule looks like, today or this week even.
Yeah,
And
well,
I'm envious.
I can tell you about that. I'm in Finland tomorrow. SPAR launches in Finland tomorrow after a gap of some 2 decades. So it'll be hugely exciting news and an amazing partner. So I'm in Finland tomorrow for the launch of a 4,000 square meter SPAR in just near Helsinki. And then next week I'm in Albania, where there's been a development by way of a change of ownership and huge investment plans for the market. The following week I'm in India with our partners in India and Bangalore, Chennai. Then I go across to Colombo to Sri Lanka. So I've got a busy month this month. It's not like that all the time, but that's just the way it's falling. International history, so
I'm certainly envious, that's for sure. I don't get out much like that anyway over here on my side of the world, but you've probably come across just the cultures alone are so different to like blend week to the next. You have no idea what time zone you're in, what language you're working on, but I'm sure you've come across some like crazy stories. What's if I put you on the spot a little, what's one of the funniest things you've had to encounter?
Well, I always see when I go to these countries that, and when the brand comes to these countries, that I, as an individual, am a guest in that country. And the brand is a guest in that country with our hosts, and we work in partnership. So some of the cultures, I mean, I've got many stories which will all go in a book, but Bill Bryson, I think, something like that. I'll tell you a funny one. So I'm in the office here now, and some years ago, our finance director said, "Oh, David, while you're out in India, I would like this contract signed. You see, so very important we get this agreement signed. Can you get it signed?" So I went into the MD's office at the time in Bangalore, and I asked for the document to be signed. He said, "No." And this is what I didn't realize. This was Holshatak, which is they call an inauspicious time, which means that it's not good luck from the 7th to the 13th of March to sign any document or to do any business. So they called in Deepak, who was the Sadhu in the office, and said, "Is it okay for me to sign this document?" He said, No, sir. No, sir, no. In 10 days' time, just as we get towards Holi, it's the vernal equinox. Mars, Venus, and Jupiter are aligned in the constellation of whatever it was. It's okay to sign it after 2:00 next Thursday. So yes, the managing director took a post-it note and wrote Thursday, 2:00, and he put it in a pile. So I went, okay. So and then I flew back, and as soon as I got back to the office, our finance director said, "Did you get that document signed?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, why not?" I said, "Well, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me." So there's these sorts of I mean, there's many things that have happened to me, being caught in snowstorms. Out in Eurasia, thinking this is it, with just a Celine Dion a CD and a little bit of glass of whiskey. I'm thinking this is it. This is where it all ends, on a motorway in a snowdrift. I've had those things stranded at military airports.
Oh, no.
I've had all sorts of things happen to me that are very colourful and very enriching, and at every step, every time, I've been greeted with such kindness from people.
Well, that's tremendous fun, and obviously I haven't travelled as much as you, David, but I've done my share, and I completely agree with you. It's very enriching, isn't it, to meet our colleagues in different markets and spend time with them, and we can it's been a pleasure to have you on and chatting about that today, and we can just wish you more safe travels and innovation around the world.
Thank you, Dan, and I hope you'll buy my book when I've finished writing it, right?
Of course.
Of course.
I'll give you a free copy. So, I look forward to it. No, it's a great world, and full of great retailers, passionate people, and all that travel actually makes me very optimistic. It makes me optimistic about the future of retail, but more importantly, it makes me optimistic about the state of our world today. There are some great people in it, and we share common philosophies, all of us.
Well, I was going to say I couldn't have ended that any better. That's a beautiful, optimistic, forward-looking end to our beautiful podcast. So, David, thank you so much for your time today. Again, as David said, safe travels, stay well, keep an eye on that calendar, and avoid those holy moments that you can't have things signed, so you don't have to delay business.
It's a good technique. We could all do that, help our cash flow a little bit, and have a few of these inauspicious periods, I think. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening to the Future of Convenience podcast. Thank you for listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, produced by Dan Munford, Nick Scherzer, Jenna Ferguson, and Lorraine Evans. It is produced and edited and mixed by Carolyn Schnare, and music is provided by Jukebox Music. Learn more at globalconvenience.com.